All right, on this episode of Bare Knuckle Bowker, very excited to be talking to an individual who has a massive fight set to go down in Spain at BKFC 67 on October the 12th, and he'll be contending for that welterweight championship presently held by Austin Trout in the co-main event of the night. Great to have Rico Franco on Bare Knuckle Bowker to talk about all that, and yeah, just wondering how you're doing, man. You having a solid day so far?
Really good, mate. Always got to be good. Always have good days, and we're just getting itching now, ready to get stuck in, ready to go.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people that avidly follow Bare Knuckle figured you would eventually be the next to fight for the welterweight championship and everything. So not a surprise per se, but like seemed like it had been a little bit just with you having been out of the ring for a bit over a year now. Like when did the dialogue really start like significantly ramping up to where you knew this would be the next fight?
It was in the talks for a while, to be fair. Straight after that fight, I mean, I didn't expect a title fight straight away. I know it was close, but I was just happy to work my way up, and whoever's in front of me, I'm just willing to fight anyone. Do you know what I mean? So there was a few talks before Christmas, offer me title fights, and they pulled through, and obviously Austin Trout fought Palomino for the belt, and it just wasn't meant to be for me just yet. But a few fights have just not happened, and it's just not meant to be. So obviously this has happened at the right time, and it's perfect fight for me, perfect venue, perfect opponent. I can't wait to go.
Yeah, for sure. And just yeah, such a rapid rise that Trout has had in the sport. Like, was there a preference at one point to either fighting Palomino or Trout, just in the sense of Palomino? I mean, still is for sure, but was like pound for pound ranked number one in a lot of people's eyes heading into that fight? Or is it kind of just like you're ultimately testing yourself against like a high level bare knuckle fighter either way, regardless of who came out of that fight victorious?
Yeah, I mean, whoever's got that belt, my vision's on that person who's got the belt. So Palomino, as soon as he had that belt, as soon as I got into peak FC, I was just visualizing beating Palomino all day. That was my target. It was the same as the old promotion, and it happened. And then as soon as Austin Trout beat Palomino, that was it. I was concentrating on Austin Trout, visualizing knocking him out, and yeah, now we get to fight him and we get to put it into practice. So yeah, whoever's in front of me, I just love scrapping. I love fighting. I love being in the moment, getting no gloves on. It's just there's no better feeling. And it's been over a year now, so the improvements. I watched that Caleb fight back, and the improvements have been massive already. So I'm just so excited to get back to it again. And there's no better place to go in Marbella in a bullfighting arena.
Yeah, exactly. Such a massive card, and the fact that it's going to be that kickoff event as part of like that new DAZN deal. It seems like there's a few exciting aspects to it.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely come at the right time. I mean, this is the first show it's going to be live on DAZN, and what a company to be under as well. It's just gonna take it to the next level. So I'm glad to be a part of it on the first one. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, and that is an exciting facet of everything because I mean, you kind of outlined it there, but just I think the hiatus almost lends itself to this idea if we're going to see a completely new version of what you bring to the table. Like we've obviously seen you compete in literally every, big promotion in bare knuckle essentially, but I feel like this is one of like the longer layoffs and I feel like how you approach the game, it'll almost show like a new version of yourself. Like I imagine there's some new wrinkles to the game heading into this next fight here.
Definitely. I mean, people always say about ring rust and all this, but I've got that much experience, in the backup there. So's Trout, but I've got more experience in the bare knuckle game, and I've been there. I've been in it a long time. With in pro MMA, no small gloves, and then we're going no gloves. It's the same thing. So I've been around it a long time, and I don't believe in ring rust. I don't. I think it's just always there, and you've just got to switch on at the right time. And as soon as fight night comes, I'm switching on. I'm ready to go now.
Yeah, it probably varies from like fighter to fighter. It's just a matter of how you approach it. And kind of like how I was saying before, like I imagine you're a guy who's, pretty diligently going about doing things in like a disciplined way to where the ring rust wouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people believe in that, and people have got to have steady fights back in before they go into a big fight if they've had a lot of time out. But I'm just ready to go 24/7. So yeah, don't really matter to me.
Yeah, and I guess what are your thoughts on what, Trout has been able to do so far? Because a pretty quick rise in bare knuckle. Like he'd done great things in gloved boxing, obviously, having fought notable names like Canelo Alvarez and whatnot. But, 2-0 already in BKFC and the champion. And like I said, beat a guy who's like pretty well regarded pound for pound. Like, what are your thoughts on, I guess, just his resume overall and just like the skills that he brings to the ring?
Yeah, obviously his boxing's elite boxing at the highest level, and he's been there and done that, and that was his main career. And he's come over to BKFC. He's had 2 fights, fought Diego Sanchez, retired UFC fighter. He's a bit punch drunk. What a guy! He's one of my favorite fighters in UFC at one point. Um, so yeah, even I called Diego Sanchez out because he was a big name, and I thought it'd just get me up quick. I knew I'd beat him, but it didn't happen. And then Palomino, he's obviously fought Palomino. Palomino for me is a small 165er. He's not a 165er. I was hoping I'd fight him next because I think it'd be an easier fight than Caleb, to be honest with you. I mean, he's a good fighter and he's done a lot for the sport, but I just think it's a good fight for me, Palomino. So if he wants it next, he'll get it as well. But I think he's done good. He's wiped 2 out in 2 fights, and he's got the title quick. But I've been in this game a long time, and listen, I just think there is levels to this game, and I believe there's levels to boxing as well, but it's completely different. And I'm just going to show some good levels in on the 12th of October. I'm looking forward to just being a new style and showing him some different stuff in there, taking him to the trenches.
Yeah, because he hasn't really faced that adversity, I guess. Like I feel like he's been able to like keep the range a fair bit and just not really get like too heavy into like that kind of outing. So that's almost like the focus for you at this point in a sense, like forcing him into the, deeper waters and more of like a pressure oriented kind of fight, like maybe some more active clinch kind of fighting than he's experienced so far.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can't let him box to his game because he's just going to be comfortable. You know what I mean? So you've got to stick the pressure on him. You've got to make him work. And I believe my work rate's too much. My work rate's going to be too much for Austin Trout, and he's going to be feeling in the trenches on the night, and he's going to be thinking, this isn't for me anymore after this fight because I'm going to take him to the deep waters.
I think you articulated it well. Like I've seen you in some other interviews talking about, his wealth of boxing experience, but that bare knuckle is ultimately different because I think some people look at this fight as like, oh yeah, they're both unbeaten so far under the BKFC banner, but I mean, this will be his third bare knuckle fight, whereas it'll be your 12th. Like I would think that the localized experience in the game, being that you've been doing it for, six some odd years now. Like I saw you had a post about that like 6 years deep in this bare knuckle game. I would think that the localized experience you have in this sport would be one of the big difference makers.
Yeah, definitely. I believe it is, and the range, timing, and everything in these small gloves and no gloves is completely different to these boxing gloves. Mainly the defense. Obviously, Trout's had 2 now, so he knows how it is and how it works. And I think after his first fight, he changed his style a little bit for Palomino, which worked well. But yeah, there's a lot of tweaks and different little things that without the gloves, it's completely different, and it's just suited for my style. I just get away with a lot of things with my style in this game. I love it.
Yeah, and I mean, how much would that mean to you to, kind of have a BKFC title to add to the mantle there because you've got like BKB championship accolades to your credit as well. Like how much would it mean to you to kind of, have that sort of achievement? I feel like that's like a capstone, meaningful kind of achievement that a lot of bare knuckle fighters really, seek after. Like it's like a sought after kind of thing.
100%. That's been the vision from day one. I won in the old promotion. That was one of the biggest ones in Europe, and then we've moved to this one, and the vision's the same, and I just know there's nothing going through my mind but winning that belt, and I see it every day, and there's no two ways about it. There's only one option, and that's winning that belt, and I won't stop until I win that belt. And yeah, I just every morning I wake up and it's there. I know I'm going to win. It will be a massive in the legacy as well, and winning two belts in two promotions. You know, that's one of the greatest in bare knuckle, surely.
Yeah, I mean, it would
12,
certainly, yeah. No, sorry, go ahead.
12 fights as well. It's a lot. It's a lot of fights in bare knuckle.
Yeah, no, for sure. Deep resume, no doubt, man. And I guess, yeah, I'd be kind of curious to get your thoughts on some of the, I mean, not super recent developments, but just also being that you fought for, BYB as well as, BKB. I'm curious as to your thoughts on BYB having acquired BKB and kind of what that would mean for, I guess, the space of bare knuckle overall.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good experience going out to. I went to Mississippi and fought in the BYB Triangle. I think it was a week just before I was flying out there. I didn't even know the rules. To be fair, I didn't even know the rule set. I didn't know it was 3 minute rounds. I didn't know you could clinch, and I didn't really know. I just winged it. I just took the fight, and I was just like, look, I'll just go back out again. And then I realised, yeah, actually, this is completely different. I didn't train. I didn't train for this. I tried to keep my same style, and then in this triangle, it's just not for me. It's not my style. I'd have had to change my style to fight in there, um, but I'm not changing my style because this one works best for me, and I like to box and move. And in the triangle, you're just brawling really. So it's not for me. It's for other people. But BKFC is the main ring for me. It's perfect. The rules and everything.
Yeah, I feel like people don't realize how much the game is kind of different across all these different promotions ultimately, because I think some people who maybe, I guess, don't as actively, like, say, follow the bare knuckle circuit, I think they just kind of look at it as bare knuckle across the board. But I mean, even with that, BYB, BKB deal, like a thing I've been talking about in some recent interviews is I think just how much admiration I have for BKB guys who've crossed over into BYB or even like vice versa, realistically, just because I mean, there's different rule sets. Like you said, the competitive space leads to the fights playing out in a very different way. And then even like the, same day weigh ins versus day before weigh ins. So, yeah, a lot of adapting that the, BKB fighters would have to do with this BYB deal and all.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one big difference as well. The day before weighing, it's a lot of people struggle with the same days. You get a day to replenish and get that fuel back in. So there is a lot of difference between two of the sports. They're both bare knuckle, but they're both completely different rule sets, different times. So yeah, it's just what suits different people and different styles. But BKFC is the perfect style for me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you see certain people have attributes shine through a little more in certain promotions and certain spaces. Just, yeah, cool time to follow the sport and great that fighters have some of these different opportunities. But I mean, you fought a real who's who in the sport. I guess one of the fights that I'd be curious to kind of touch on, at least in the sense of, I guess, putting it in the modern context, like your fight with Connor Tierney at BKB 16. Like, it seems like he's been doing some great things lately. Like, what are your thoughts on him winning that UK welterweight title in BKFC?
Yeah, he's come on a lot. He's stuck to it. He won a bout on BKB. He worked his way up again, and then he moved over to BKFC before me. And he's climbed up the ladder. He went out to America. He got a good knockout there. So yeah, he's doing well, and he's just won the belt, British title. Um, it is what it is. We may cross the lines eventually again one day, but I'm fighting for the world title. He just fought for the British. He's got a European first, and then he's got to go to the world. So he's got a bit of work to do still. It's the sport's just constantly growing, and there's big people coming in all the time. Um, so yeah, we may cross the lines again, but same result. I'll still knock him out the same way.
I feel like it's one of the deeper divisions in the sport too. Like, that's something that, as someone who like has it as like a regular beat that they cover, like I feel like it's definitely one of the deeper kind of weight categories. Like, I mean, even some other recent fights, like Jake Lindsay having beaten Alvin Brito, who himself was a former champion at welterweight, and you've got Carlos Trinidad Snake in the mix. It just seems like there's like a wealth of, I guess, just ready contenders and surging fighters in that division. Like it must be exciting fighting for a world title in one of the deeper weight categories in the sport overall.
It is. It's a very active weight class. It's a very active and busy weight class. There's so many people at this natural weight. It's going to be hard to get to that top five. So, I'm lucky. I fought the guys I have. I had 3 fights back to back just to fight Caleb, who was number 3 in the world. So I had to do what I had to do, and then, we wiped them all out, and that's how we do. So we go up there quick, but it's great to be fighting for the world title. It's an honor, especially in front of Conor McGregor, David Feldman. I've not fought in front of Feldman yet live, and it's gonna be a great show. What an experience.
Yeah, and that's another facet of everything as well. Like I feel like Conor McGregor being involved in the space, like his partial ownership stake within the company, I feel like it's really shined a certain spotlight on the sport. Like I feel like it's always growing, and like specifically the promotion itself is growing, but it just feels like it's taken it to that next sort of level. That must be exciting. It seems like you are excited based on how you're describing it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the levels just keep going more and more, and getting out to different countries all the time. It's massive in America, obviously, but we're going to Europe now, and now McGregor's involved. It's just it's going to take off massively. Well, it already is. It just keeps growing, and obviously with DAZN on TV, that's just another level. So yeah, it just keeps going bigger and bigger. So I'm fighting for the world title at a time where it's massive, and it's going to keep getting massive. So when I win that belt, it's going to be an honor.
Yeah, and I mean the performance you had last time out too, like I know we're squarely focused on, this fight, but just, setting certain records in that last performance, like 5 knockdowns in a round and, 9 knockdowns accrued overall. Like, I mean, that's pretty incredible. I mean, it speaks to the resilience of Harris to a certain extent, but I mean, that must have been cool setting records in that last performance there and everything like that. And I mean, I guess the record setting component is maybe different here in this sense too, because you're trying to, like you said, become like a multi-promotion sort of champion. But I guess what were your thoughts on the quality of that last performance? Because it seems like there's some standout kind of metrics from that one.
Yeah, there was a lot of faults in that performance. That I know, and when I rewatch it back, you're always going to doubt yourself in your performances. Every time I have a fight, I'm just like, why have I done that? Why have I done this? But I just know I've adapted, and become a better fighter in this year. And it was a good performance, and he was a solid opponent. Number 3 in the world, has never been finished, and to get back up after 5 knockdowns and carry on, and then 3 knockdowns in the third round, and he carried on, and then he nearly knocked me out in the fourth round. So yeah, Caleb Harris is he's the definition of a warrior. So this guy is a monster. So to beat someone like Caleb and finish him, then I just wanted to make a statement, and when we did, and now we've got the shot.
Yeah, and you kind of, I guess this was the more of an inference I was making, but even like from the beginning when I was just in general kind of asking how your day is going, like it seems like there's like a sense of, I would say, just consistent gratitude that you do have, because in the last time we talked before that Harris fight, you were talking about overcoming a very serious illness that you had, like a bowel disease at the time. Like I imagine that gives you a certain, I guess, like even further galvanized kind of mindset. Like your relationship or your mentality with everything has always rather struck me as, very strong and everything like that. But it feels like you just have like a sense of gratitude and appreciation for, just being able to live life unencumbered by that illness and whatnot, which I imagine would benefit you in a lot of ways in general, but I'm sure it gives you like that certain like indestructible kind of mindset in a fighting context as well.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, every time something I have a setback or anything, my brain just keeps callousing over, and it gets stronger every time. And my mindset is just invincible at the minute. And like I say, I'd step in there with anyone and happily trade with anyone in that ring, bare knuckle. Even the main man, Conor McGregor, one day, if he ever wanted, that would be a crazy. For everyone wants to fight Conor McGregor, but listen, it is the mindset, and after everything I've been through in my life, this is a walk in the park because I get to fight Austin Trout for the world title, Marbella Arena, an ex-bullfighting arena, and that's just what a time to be alive. So I'm gonna just soak it up and enjoy the whole process. That's what it's about, and just being there in the moment, and it's gonna be amazing, buzzing.
Yeah, and it's cool that you have things going on with your own boxing club as well. Like, I feel like that's also a difference from the last time we spoke. And I saw you were saying, like, oh, I wasn't really planning on opening a boxing club. But yeah, I mean, it seems like Franco's boxing club has been going well and whatnot. And just, yeah, speaks to the further success and growth, I suppose, too, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, since I opened the gym, it's been 2 years. After that BYB fight, in fact, and since opening the gym, it's made me a better boxer just because I'm watching it every day. I'm coaching every day. I'm helping people. I'm seeing people's faults, and then it's coming back to me, and I've just become a better boxer just from coaching for 2 years. And we've got a great community now coming on in Franco's boxing club, and everyone loves it and everyone thrives of it because I'm competing still myself. So it's motivating them, and it's just great to be around. I love it. This is me. This is my lifestyle now forever.
Yeah, for sure. It gives that like longevity minded kind of thing to have in your life. And I just love like gyms as far as like what it can do to I guess, inspire and sort of foster, good communal interaction, like I was talking about. Like, I mean, it's obviously great you're fighting for a BKFC world title, but if even for someone it gives them that like regular sort of like fitness component in their life, or it helps their mental health, or gets them out of some trouble they might be getting in, or whatever the situation is, like it just gives that communal sort of space to like productively, I guess, like spend their time and allocate their energy to. So, love that.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the main things as well. People's mindsets. They need something to focus on. So we get the kids and juniors coming off the streets, give them something to focus on, and yeah, that's what it's about. It's just creating a good atmosphere for them, giving them a focus, letting them punch each other, and just enjoying it. Love it.
And your journey in the sport has just been so cool. Like, I mean, I guess I'd be curious to see maybe when there might have been like a shift in the mentality, because it seemed like at one point when bare knuckle was kind of put on your radar, you were more immersed in the world of MMA. And it seemed like from some articles that I've seen, like, it wasn't necessarily like a thing you, I guess, like considered a great deal at the beginning, but it seemed like when the training started ramping up and whatnot, you really started noticing your aptitude for the sport. Like, was that kind of a gradual realization, or was there kind of like a distinct epiphany moment where you're like, oh, I can really make a run in this sport?
Yeah, obviously it started. It started. I just wanted to try a bare knuckle fight just to feel it because I loved striking in small gloves in MMA. And all my wins was from striking, and all my losses was from submission. So I just said to my coach, I need to try one of these bare knuckle fights just for a laugh. I think for the full camp, I was training jiu-jitsu as well, and I went in and won the fight 3 rounds. Felt amazing. I was like, Get me back in there." So we got back in again. My second fight was actually a southpaw as well. I finished him in the third round, and then after that, I'm still training just jiu-jitsu and MMA at the time. So it wasn't really a full time thing. I just did it for a laugh, and I had good striking, and then I entered a tournament, and then when I was in this tournament, that was it. I just focused on bare knuckle, and when I won the tournament, the winner gets to fight Jimmy Sweeney for the world title fight, and my vision was just Jimmy Sweeney, and through that whole camp, it was just dedicated to boxing, bare knuckle, and when I beat Jimmy Sweeney, that was it. Obviously, things turned in lockdown. I had surgery since then, and I had to focus on a bit of the mindset and things like that, and just get my health right. And but yeah, ever since that tournament, that's what switched it, and that's what kind of switched everything. And then obviously I had surgery, couldn't go back to MMA because of the bag. So yeah, it was meant to be. This is meant to be for me, bare knuckle.
Yeah, and I love what's kind of come of that relationship with Jimmy Sweeney, where it looks like you guys have gotten in some like hard rounds training with one another. And I mean, such great fights. Like, I feel like for people who maybe are, I guess, BKFC centric and how they follow the sport, like, I feel like people don't realize the pedigree of Jimmy Sweeney and just how impressive it was for you to, have gotten a victory over him, especially considering your relative inexperience at that particular time in the sport. So it seems like, based on how you described it there, that those Jimmy Sweeney fights were really big, meaningful fights for you in your career so far in this sport.
Yeah, definitely. Jimmy Sweeney was the made man in bare knuckle boxing in the whole world at the time. You know what I mean? So I think he's got 30 fights to his name nearly. So fighting Jimmy Sweeney was just amazing, just to fight him. Never mind beating him. And the first fight, clearly beat him, and it was just that was the best feeling ever. And obviously, I had surgery after that. Rushed back in after the rematch, just the rematch and get back in the ring, and he cleaned me out. It just want my time, and that's when. So we've had two fights, and just to fight him twice was unbelievable. And obviously, after when I got into BKFC, I started training with Jimmy, and I've had some good spars with Jimmy. So yeah, we're still in touch and we still speak. We may see him on BKFC, but that's not for me to say. So yeah, it'll be exciting times. We may have a third fight in BKFC. Who knows? But yeah, what a guy! He's done a lot for the sport, and yeah, he's such a great guy as well. Great fighter, and I think he's going to clean up in there in BKFC. He's going to clean some guys up.
Yeah, he has such a wealth of experience too. Like, I feel like some people, I mean, not to say it in a way to like discredit anyone else, obviously, but in a relative way, I feel like you'll see people in BKFC where, in a relative way, they are like one of the more experienced fighters on that circuit. And then you see how many bare knuckle fights Jimmy Sweeney has, and you're like, damn, man, like you're racking up some pretty impressive numbers there. But yeah, I have seen him teasing some stuff on social media, so that would be definitely exciting. I feel like North American fans who, like I said, maybe are more BKFC centric in how they view the sport, I feel like Jimmy Sweeney could quickly become like a big favorite for them. And the idea that you could have a rubber match with him down the line would definitely, be exciting for sure. Seems like you have great options.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I mean, he's kind of style for bare knuckle. I've learned a lot from Jimmy, and just watching Jimmy, we've copied and replicated a few things of the Jimmy Sweeney style, and he's the main man, born and bred for bare knuckle boxing. So he's a really good boxer with gloves on as well. So when he adapted his style for bare knuckle, it's tradition, gypsy, traveller style. The bare knuckle boxing comes from England, so he's the main man, and it's from Ireland as well. So yeah, it's quite. It'd be good to see him over.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Definitely exciting times. And I guess just like with this Trout fight here, like it seemed like, based on how we've been discussing it so far, that you see it as like something where you're going to really force the issue more so and really put that pressure on him. Like, do you see a specific way that this fight might end? Like, I guess I say that having talked to some fighters where it seems like they're very heavy into the visualization and they see like either a certain technique or at like a certain juncture in the fight, everything kind of wrapping up. Like, do you have anything like that in your head, or is the idea to more, I guess, try to get in that flow state and implement your game plan, but be adaptable to whatever may happen, I guess?
Yeah, definitely. I'm visioning it every single day, and he's going to get stopped in the first round. And there's no messing about in this fight. He's just going to get stuck on first time. He's going to feel it, and he's going to be in the trenches, and he's going to ride the storm for a bit. He might ride it, and then he's going to go. I'm going to go again second round. My gas tank is ready for 5, 10 rounds if he wants. So I'm ready to go all day. I don't think he's got the work rate that I've got.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting fight, man. I mean, definitely a stacked card. And I mean, seeing some people understandably call it the biggest bare knuckle show they've put on. So it makes sense that you're a part of it. There's 3 title fights and just getting into a newer kind of market here. And like I said before, the DAZN deal, just so many exciting components. So in saying all that, Rico, I do appreciate you making some time to talk ahead of the fight, but I do want to be mindful of what you're getting up to the rest of the day too, though, in the general schedule. So figured I'd kind of put the ball in your court if there was maybe a final parting thought you wanted to add as we're wrapping up here, man.
Um, I've got no really else to say. I'm just enjoyed. I'm going to enjoy this process. I've enjoyed the whole fight camp. There's no pressure on me in this fight. I'm just gonna. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity getting to fight in this place. So I'm just gonna soak it all up and enjoy it, and just be there in the moment. And when the time comes to fight, he's gonna taste it, and he's gonna feel the pressure. Listen, this is my chance now to show everyone, who's the best bare knuckle boxer in the world, and I'm going to leave everything out there. I'm willing to go till death in this fight, and I don't believe Austin Trout is. I wanted to sacrifice everything, and yeah, I'm ready to put on a good fight for the fans. I want everyone to enjoy it and see it live in action. Knuckles crunching on skulls. Let's go.
Yeah, your track record speaks to the idea of generating enjoying fights for sure, man. And just such an exciting fight with Austin Trout. I know I've said it a few times, but I think it bears repeating ahead of this BKFC Spain endeavor. So yeah, gonna be checking that out on October 12th with BKFC 67. And thanks for coming on Bare Knuckle Bowker ahead of this BKFC welterweight title bid, man. You have a good rest of your day. And yeah, thanks so much for the time. Much appreciated.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it, mate.